Night hits the steel walls of Vault 9 like rain on a drum. Red lights blink. Sirens sleep, but they are ready to scream. The air smells like metal and storm. Jax moves through a narrow vent. His hands are steady. His mind is sharp. He counts each breath. Behind him, Mira slides the grate back into place. She checks her wristpad. A thin green line crawls across the screen. Cameras on sweep, she whispers. 9 seconds blind on each turn, Jax nods. He drops from the vent to a dark catwalk. Below, a long hall waits. Floors shine like knives. Doors stand thick and mean. He points left. Mira follows. They step when the cameras look away. They stop when the cameras return. Their timing is tight. Their luck is thin. A deep sound rises from the far end. It is not wind. It is not a machine. It is a living thing. Chains answer with a dull clank. Heat moves like a slow breath. Jax and Mira reach a heavy gate. The sign reads, War Dragon Ash. Mira kneels by the lock. Sparks dance from her tool. The alarm line jumps on her pad. Yellow to orange. Orange to red. Almost there, she says. Keep watch. Jax keeps watch. He sees shadows of guards moving on the glass of a control room. He hears their boots. He feels the storm outside push the big roof. He hears the breath again. It is closer now. It is hot. The lock clicks. The gate opens a hand's width. Inax forces it wider. The room inside is large and black. Chains hang like iron vines. In the center, a dragon waits. Ash lifts one golden eye. The other eye is hidden by a scar. His scales are the color of old fire. His chest rises. His chest falls. He is silent, but the room shakes. Mira steps in behind Jax. He's huge, she says. Jax does not step back. He holds up a small hollow. It shows an alien girl with bright grey eyes, Luma, calm eyes. Brave face. We need him to save her, Jax says. His voice is low. They will trade her at dawn. The prison ship has shields we cannot break. He can. Ash looks at the hollow. Smoke curls from his mouth. The chains groan. The red alarm wakes. Sirens break the night. Doors slam open down the hall. Shouts fill the air. Mira jumps, then bites her lip and works faster at the collar lock. Leash code, she says. Ugly stuff. Hold them off. Jax rolls a flash tool into the hall. White light blooms. Guards stumble. A smoke charge follows. Grey fog swallows red light. Jax moves like a shadow. 2 guards drop. A third fires wild. Sparks bite the walls. Inside the room, Ash turns his head. He stares at Jax, then at the hollow again. He opens his mouth. Fire does not roar out. He leans forward and lets a thin, bright stream kiss the thick chains. Metal glows, then softens, then melts. The dragon pulls. The chains break like wet wire. Reef, bring the bird! Jax calls into his mic. Outside, engines howl. Wind punches the roof. The dropship lights cut through rain and smoke. The ceiling panels shiver. Mira yanks the last wire. The collar spits a shower of sparks. Her pad flashes a warning. Jax, there's a kill switch in the control room. Jax looks up to the balcony. Warden Core stands there in black armor. His face is calm. His thumb rests on a square device. Return the asset, Core says. His voice is cold. Or watch it fall. Jax meets Ash's eye. We fly, he says. Ash crouches. Jax jumps onto the dragon's neck. Mira grabs the harness line. Guards fire. Bullets scream. Ash beats his wings once, twice. The roof cracks. The dropship hovers close. On the balcony, Core smiles. He presses the kill switch. Ash roars in sudden pain. His wings lock. His body lurches. The dragon drops like a stone. Jax still on his back, the ground racing up fast. Ash falls like a burning comet. Wind claws at his wings. The kill switch bites like ice and fire at once. Jax holds the neck ridge with both hands. He does not let go. Mira hangs from the harness line, boots kicking empty air. A howl of engines rises from below. Reef dives the dropship under them. Hold on, he shouts. The bay door yawns open. A magnet flares blue. Ash fights the lock with raw will. One wing twitches. The other barely moves. He twists just enough. The net grabs them all with a heavy snap. The ship groans. Bolts scream. Reef pulls up hard. They do not die. Not yet. On the balcony, Warden Core watches without a word. He lets them go. That smile returns, thin as a blade. He taps the device again. The pain in the collar lowers, not gone, just enough to make the next step hurt more. Inside the dropship, lights strobe. Smoke fills the air. Jax peels his fingers from the ridge and checks Mira. She is pale but breathing. Ash lies quiet, his flanks shaking. The collar glows a dull red. Mira stares at her cracked pad. It's not just a shock, she says. It is a leash code. It locks muscle. It floods fear. It learns. Jax wipes rain from his face. Can you break it? Maybe, she says, but not fast. Reef banks low into storm clouds. The fortress vanishes behind them. Thunder hides their trail. Rain drums the hull like fists. Jax closes his eyes for one heartbeat, and the memory opens. He sees a market on Gird 6. Smoke. Spice. Noise. Humans push carts. Aliens trade metal and food. A fight starts at a water pump. Words become shoves. Shoves become fists. A knife flashes. Before the first cut, a soft voice rises. The crowd stills, not by force, but by tone. An alien girl steps into the ring, grey eyes. Calm hands open, no fear. Water is not a weapon, she says. Drink then talk. The knife lowers. The anger melts. People step back. The pump runs. She smiles like dawn after a long night. Later, Jax hears her name, Luma. He hears what she does, carries messages between clans that will not speak. Leaves food where soldiers do not look. Sits beside a crying child and says nothing until the child stops. 2 weeks after, Luma is gone. Taken by order. Taken for a trade at dawn to who? No answer, only a symbol burned in a wall, a spiral hive. Core's work, Jax opens his eyes. Dawn in 5 hours, Jax says. We will not be in time unless Ash flies. Ash opens one gold eye. He hears his name. He smells the memory of the market on Jax's clothes. Spice and dust and fear held down by stubborn care. The dragon lifts his head a fraction. Chains are gone, but the collar sits tight. His breath is ragged. He does not roar. He endures. Mira kneels close, careful of the teeth. She runs a scanner along the collar. The screen flickers, then clears. Code blossoms like a thorny vine. She chases it, line after ugly line. It is not just a lock, she murmurs. It is a maze. It changes as I look. Reef throws a look back. We need a place to hide. Scrapyard Moon, Jax says. Old rigs. Dead scanners. We fix there. We fly from there. Reef nods and pushes the throttle. The ship shudders and obeys. Mira's breath goes shallow. Wait, she whispers. Her fingers dance. She splits the code. A shadow opens under it, a second layer, darker, colder. What is it? Jax asks. Mira swallows. A rider trap. She turns the pad so he can see the simple line in the sea of numbers. It is cruel in how clean it is. If anyone tries to melt or cut the collar from the rider's reach point, the code mirrors pain. It jumps from the dragon's nerves to the rider's heart. Jax looks at Ash. Ash meets his eyes. How bad? He asks. Mira's voice is small. Enough to stop your heart before the collar breaks. Silence sits in the ship for one long beat. Thunder rolls. Rain hammers. Jax ties a strip of cloth around his burned hand. His voice does not shake. Then we learn where to cut from the inside, he says. Or we make a mirror of our own. Mira does not smile. Jax! There's one more flag in the code. She taps the screen. A tiny red glyph blooms, a spiral hive. Core is not the only watcher, she whispers. When the leash dies, someone else will know. The storm swallows the ship as they drop toward the scrapyard moon. They drop through black clouds toward the grave moon, a world of dead metal and slow dust. Broken ships lie like bones. Cranes stand like tall ghosts. Lightning crawls along a cracked horizon. Reef sets the dropship down between two rusted hulls. The engines cool with tired clicks. He kills the lights. No welcome, he says. Good. Jax lowers the ramp. Heat leaks out. Rain turns to greasy fog. They hide Ash under torn tarp and net. The dragon's sides rise and fall. The collar glows a dull coal. He is awake but still. He saves his fire. A shadow moves near the scrap towers. An old alien steps out, thin and long, 4 arms, metal rings along his jaw. Name is Vec, he says. I run this pile. Jax shows empty hands. We trade. Vec's eyes slide to the tarp. He smells smoke. He hears a slow, heavy breath. His jaw rings click. Danger under that cloth, he says. Danger is everywhere, Jax answers. We need a shield spike. Military grade. 10 seconds of clean hole through ship shields. Vec taps a crate with one nail. I have a spike, he says. If Fuel buys it, or favors. Favors cost more later. Reef rolls a drum of fuel down the ramp. The mech tests the line with a coil. Blue light hums. He nods and tosses a narrow case to Jax. Do not miss your 10 seconds, he says. You only get 10. Thunder shakes the yard. Mira stands by the ramp with her pad. She is grey with focus. I need leash code maps, she says. There is a patrol drone here with a memory core. I can make it spill. Vec points to a rusted tower. Drones sweep each hour. The next pass in 3 minutes. They'd love to look at my crane. If it vanishes, I get fined. Do not break my crane. Mira sprints into the maze. Jax follows to cover. The drone hum rolls in, smooth and mean. It glides low, lights cold. Mira tosses a decoy tag that sticks to a pipe. The tag lies about heat and mass. The drone turns, greedy for the false signal. Mira jumps, catches the drone's tail and slaps a worm clip on the seam. The drone jerks and fights. She swings under it like a bell clapper, boots kicking rust. Jax fires one short shot at its eye. The bullet grazes. The drone sways and screams. The worm clip opens its core like a flower. Hold, 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 Mira whispers. Code pours into her pad. A map blooms. Lines of control, pain triggers, rider traps, backdoors named like knives. She marks a path and rips the clip free. The drone slashes with a wing. Metal kisses her shoulder. She drops into a pile of chains. Jax drags her out. Got it? He asks. Got it, she says, breath thin. We can cut the collar from a second point near the spine. No jump to the rider if we mirror signal within 2 seconds. They reach the ship. Reef opens the spike case. The device looks like a spear made of thunder. He grins. Helix will blink. Jax turns to Vec. We also need a route, he says. Prison ship Helix! Vec's jaw rings go still. Helix launches early, he says. 3 hours to burn. They will take the dusk lane over the grave moon to hide in the storm fields. If you go up, go fast. Ish stirs under the tarp. He slides his head out, one gold eye on Jax. He opens his mouth and lets a slow ribbon of heat flow near Jax's face. A test, a warning. In question, Jax does not flinch. He lifts his burned hand and places it on the collar edge. It says his skin fresh. He holds. We fly together, he says. Ash blinks once. Not a nod, not yet. But not a refusal. Mira links the spike to the flight deck. We will need a 10-second window and a clean angle, she says. If we miss, we bounce. Reef checks the sky. Then we do not miss. A thin beep cuts the air. Not the ship. Not Mira's pad. Vec's jaw rings tremble. He steps back. Leave, he says. Now Jax hears it too. A beacon, high and sharp. It crawls up his spine like cold wire. Mira turns pale. They tagged our hull at Vault 9, she whispers. Core has our trail. Spotlights bloom above the scrap towers. Engines howl from the dark. A huntercraft slides down the storm like a blade. Reef slams the ramp. Company! He shouts. Ash throws off the tarp in a blast of sparks. The first missile locks on. The first missile sings. Reef throws the ship sideways. Metal screams. The blast boils a tower of scrap into sparks. Second missile, locked. Mira shouts. Ash lunges into the storm, wings wide, tarp flying like dead skin. He spits a thin line of fire. The flame kisses the missile nose. It bursts early, a white sun in rain. Up, Jax says. We go now. Reef shoves the throttle. The dropship claws for the clouds. The huntercraft rises behind them like a black tooth. And guns chatter. Bullets stitch the rain. Mira hammers her pad. Dump the beacon, she says. Jax rips a side plate free and throws it into the wind. The plate spins, catches the hunter's aim, and shatters under fire. The hunter corrects, too late. Reef cuts power, then slams it back. The ship hops. The hunter overshoots, searches, loses them in thunder. Dusk lane, Reef says, eyes bright. Hold tight. They skim the grave moon's jagged edge and break into high, thin air. Ahead, the prison ship Helix turns slow and cruel, rings of steel around a bright core. Shield haze glows like fog in starlight. Dock guns tick like patient clocks. Window in 60 seconds, Mira whispers. Her fingers dance. I can spoof the hangar doors for 90. No more! Reef slides them under the shield rim, close to the black skin of the ship, where sensors are blind to their own shadow. Jax clips a harness to Ash. The collar hums. Ash bares his teeth but holds. Remember, Mira says. Spike gives 10 seconds. One shot, Jax lifts the spear-like shield spike. He leans into the open hatch. Cold vacuum bites his face. Helix rolls below like a sleeping god. Now, Mira says. Jax throws the spike. It bites the shield with a thunder crack. The haze splits. A clean hole blooms, breath wide at first, then wider. Reef dives through, skimming a forest of antennae. Doors, Mira says. She spoofs a code. Green lights blink. The hangar yawns open like a hungry mouth. Go, Jax says to Ash. Ash drops, a silent shadow with fire in his throat. Jax rides the neck ridge, rope tight in burned hands. Reef drifts the dropship above them, ready to snatch. Inside the hangar is a city of crates and cranes. Patrols march in clean squares. Sirens sleep. For 90 seconds, all is wrong in their favor. They land in a dark corner behind fuel tanks. Jax runs. Mira ghosts beside him, pad whispering fake badges into cameras. Ash crawls low, a mountain in the shadows. They reach a bright wall of blue glass, an energy cell. Inside stands Luma, grey eyes, calm face, hands folded. She is not afraid. Jax stops. For a second, the world narrows to her breath and his. Jax, she says, soft, like she knew he would come. He smiles once and lifts a portable null. The device purrs. The blue wall thins. Heat bites his arm hair. 40 seconds, Mira warns. Luma steps forward, but not out. She takes Jax's wrist and shakes her head. She nods at the floor. Jax follows her look. Seams cross the deck in a careful star. He drops the null. He listens. Under the hum, something softer. A pulse, a whisper. A nest of tiny heartbeats. He pries a panel loose. Beneath, round shapes gleam, warm and faintly lit from within. Eggs, 5, no, 6. Scales like frost on glass. Little claws twitch in sleep. Mira's voice breaks. Dragon eggs. Ash slides nearer. His chest rises, then stops. He makes a sound Jax has never heard. Not roar, not hiss. A low, broken note. A father's sound. 20 seconds, Mira says, voice thin. Speakers crackle. The hangar wakes. Lights flare white. Doors slam. The intercom carries a quiet smile. Welcome back, thieves, says Warden Core. Take the girl if you like. Leave the brood. Jax looks at Luma. Luma looks at Ash. She touches the nearest egg with 2 fingers and then places those fingers over her heart. His children, she says. They come first. Core's voice softens, almost kind. You cannot carry both. Choose, human. Mira's null whines and dies. Security fields blaze back. Boots pound above. A rail turret turns. Ash steps over the nest and throws his wings around Jax, Luma, and the eggs. The collar heats, warning ready to bite. He does not move away. Jax lifts his burned hand to the collar's hidden seam they mapped on the moon. 2 seconds to Mira signal, or die. He meets Mira's eyes. 10 seconds, she says. Core laughs once. The hangar cannon aligns on their corner. A red dot blooms on Ash's ribs. Choose, Core repeats. Jax takes a breath that tastes like metal and fire. Both, he says, and drives the tool into the seam. Jax drives the tool into the collar seam. The metal sizzles. The code wakes like a snake. Mira in 2. Mira says, fingers flying. What? Her pad flashes white. A red glyph blooms, a tiny spiral hive. The screen burns out with a sharp pop. Core laughs over the intercom, warm and cruel. Did you enjoy my drone, little hacker? It enjoyed you. The leash code bites. Ash seizes. His wings snap tight. His legs lock. He slams sideways into a cargo cage. Steel bends. Sparks rain. The eggs tremble under his belly. One hairline crack crawls across a shell. Mira yanks a spare lead. It smokes in her hands. Lock out, she gasps. 10 minutes. I cannot touch the code for 10. Then we hold for 10, Jax says, but his voice is thin. The collar's trap chews at him through the rider path. It tastes his heart. It pushes pain down his arm. His fingers go numb. Turrets wake. Red dots pepper the floor. Troops pour from catwalks in black armor, boots loud, visors blank. Reef's voice snaps in their ears. Taking hits. Pulling away for a loop, 10 seconds. The hangar cannon coughs. A shell tears past the dropship's nose. Reef jerks the stick. The ship spins into storm glare and vanishes. Kor's smile returns to the speakers. Trade stands. Leave the brood. Walk out with the girl. Be smart. Luma stares through the energy wall. Her calm is a hard thing now, not soft. She places her hand on the blue field. It stings. She does not pull back. She steps through. The field burns her arm raw. She breathes out and walks on, smoke curling from her sleeve. Stop! Idruper shouts. He fires. The bolt grazes Luma's shoulder. She staggers, then sets her feet again. She reaches Jax and presses her unburned hand to his chest. Breathe, she says. Stand. Her eyes lift to Ash. She leans close to the dragon's ear. She speaks a word that is not a word, a shape of sound from a place without walls. A true name. Ash shudders. The leash pulls him down. The name pulls him up. For a heartbeat, he rises between pain and power. His gold eye clears. He sees Luma's burned arm. He sees Jax fighting to stand. He hears the tiny heartbeats under him. Kor's voice turns cold. Very well. Warning klaxons flare. Lights flip to hard white. A vast door at the hangar's end unlocks with a thump that shakes bone. Outer doors opening, Mira whispers. He will blow us into space. The first seam splits. Air howls. Papers, bolts, and a dead wrench fly past. A trooper forgets his mag boots. He lifts off with a howl and vanishes into the dark. Jax throws a cable around the cage bar and clips it to his belt. He ties a second line to Luma's waist. The wind claws at them. His burned hand slips. He ties with the other. Mira, hold the eggs, he says. Mira drops to her knees and cups 2 shells to her chest. She hooks her boot under a deck ring and locks her calf. The floor tilts. The nest slides an inch, then 2. Ash spreads one wing over the brood. The leash spikes again. He shakes, but he holds. The wing bones creak. Red dots crawl across his ribs. Last offer, Kor says. Choose human. Jax lifts the broken mirror plate from a crate, scrap, scratched, cheap. He tucks it under his jacket, against his heart. He looks up at the control tower window. He cannot see Kor's eyes. He sees his own small shape in the glass. Not you, Jax says. Not today. The outer doors split wider. The hangar turns into a throat. Air screams out. Jax's feet slide. His cable jerks tight and bites his waist. Luma's hair whips like a flag. Mira's pad skids, sparks trailing, then shoots off into the black. Troops lock in lines, guns down. A rail turret tilts to Ash's head. It hums, hungry. Ash cannot move fast, but he can choose. He drags the wing closer, takes the red dot onto himself and bares his teeth. Jax! Mira cries. We are out of time! Jax looks at the collar seam, half cut, half alive. He hears Luma's breath. He hears the eggs. He hears the storm outside and the empty cold after it. He sets his jaw. He jams the tool back into the seam and shouts the true name with Luma, broken and human but loud. Kor flips a final switch. The railgun fires. The doors rip wide. Everything leaps toward the stars. Everything flies toward the stars. Air screams out. Bolts and crates lift. The world tilts. Jax's cable jerks and holds. Luma's line snaps tight on his belt. Mira locks her boot to a deck ring and hugs 2 eggs to her chest. The nest slides. Ash spreads his wing wider and takes the wind with his body. The leash burns him and keeps him slow. A rail slug rips past like a black meteor. It clips Ash's shoulder. Scale chips spray. He does not move off the brood. Close the door! Jax shouts. I cannot, Mira coughs, but I can fake a field. She crawls on elbows, teeth set, and drags the shield spike to a floor socket. Sparks bite her hands. 10 seconds, she whispers to herself. Give me 10. Above the hangar, glass flashes. Warden Kor stands in his tower, calm as stone. The kill device glows in his palm. You were warned, he says, voice smooth in every speaker. Jax rips his jacket and pulls the cracked mirror plate from his chest. He looks up at Ash. Listen to me, he says. A small fire, 1 line here. The leash bites again. Ash trembles. He hears Luma's breath, he smells the eggs. He hears his true name echo in Jax's clumsy human mouth. For a single beat, he chooses pain and gives a thin, bright stream. Jax lifts the plate and angles it hard against the collar seam near the spine, the second point Mira found on the moon. Heat jumps from plate to lock. Metal sizzles. The trap wakes and scrapes Jax's heart with an ice nail. His vision spots black. "Mirror signal in 2, Mira cries. She slams the spike home. The ship hum changes. A ragged emergency field snaps over the open doors like a torn skin. Air shoves back into the hangar in a dirty gust. The wind drops enough for breath. The spike begins to count down in a faint blue pulse. 3, 2, 1! Jax pushes the plate deeper. The collar flares white. The trap tries to jump to the rider. Mira's field steals the path and throws it into the grid. The plate rings. Jax's heart stutters, then catches. He keeps the angle. He does not stop. The lock gives. A hairline splits. The leash coughs static and dies. Ash knows it before anyone says it. The chain inside his nerves goes quiet. He takes one clean breath in his whole body. It tastes like blood, storm, and freedom. He moves. The wing that was a shield becomes a hammer. He slams a turret into the wall. Fire roars from his mouth and turns a line of guns into black teeth. Troopers scatter like sparks. The emergency field wavers but holds. Kor's voice loses its smile. "Control tower manual. Cut the field. Fire at will. On your left!" Reef barks. The dropship bursts back through smoke, scarred and angry. He swings a cargo hook like a metal fist and smashes it into the tower glass. The window spiders. Kor staggers. The kill device slips from his hand and tumbles, end over end, into the blaze. Mira crawls to the nest and shoves the last panel aside. Luma is already there, burned arm steady as she lifts an egg and passes it to Mira. Then another. "Gentle," she says. "They hear us." Ash lowers his head to the deck. Jax throws the eggs into a sling over the dragon's shoulder. Mira clips the sling to scale rings. Luma checks each shell with quick hands and nods once. "Board!" Reef shouts. The dropship hovers low, ramp out, engines screaming. Kor rises in the broken glass, blood on his lip, eyes bright with a cold fire. He turns to a heavy lever behind him. The spine rail control, a cannon for killing ships, not people. "Helix, main battery," he says. "Target, hangar 4. Warning rings roll across the deck. Coil rings along the spine begin to glow one by one like waking suns. Ash crouches. Jax hauls Luma up onto the neck ridge. Mira swings behind them and locks the egg sling tight. Reef nudges the ramp closer. Heat builds until paint blisters. "Go!" Jax shouts. Ash leaps. Kor pulls the lever. The spine rail fires. The spine rail fires. Light becomes a spear. It rips the air with a sound like the sky tearing. Ash twists in flight. He throws his wings around Jax, Luma, and the sling of eggs. The bolt hits his back at an angle. Scale explodes. Heat slams through bone. He holds. He does not let them fall. Reef drops the ramp lower. "Jump!" he yells. Ash hits the ramp hard. Metal bends. Sparks run. Reef guns the engines. The dropship claws away from the hangar mouth. Behind them, hangar 4 blooms into white fire. Broken cranes tumble like toys. "Everyone breathing?" Reef shouts. "Breathing," Jax says, voice rough. "Breathing," Mira coughs, hands on the eggs. Luma presses her palm to Ash's neck. Her burned arm shakes. "Hold," she whispers. "Live." Alarms chase them through the hangar throat. Doors try to close. The emergency field flickers and fails. Vacuum pulls at the ship again, but they are already out, into black, into cold, into freedom that burns. Helix turns, hunting. Dock guns open like red flowers. Tracer fire stitches the dark. Reef weaves the ship through a hail of light. He dives under the shield rim and kicks for the storm lanes. Lightning climbs the hull and hides them inside a roar. "Status?" Jax asks. Mira checks the sling, then Ash's wound. The scale is scorched in a spiral scar. Blood smokes, then hardens. "He will fly," she says. "But it hurts." Ash answers with a low sound. Not pain, not call, a promise. Reef laughs once, wild and tired. Helix lost visual, he says. We vanish in the weather. Not all weather, Mira whispers. Her pad, now patched and dim, blinks a faint red. A small icon turns, slow and sure, the spiral hive. There was a watcher in the leash. When it died, it sent a ping. To who? Jax asks, though he knows. The hive, she says. Big net, old teeth. Jax looks at Luma. Luma's grey eyes are steady. They will come, she says. They come for me. They come for the brood. They come for any stubborn heart that won't bow. Reef banks into deeper cloud. The grave moon curls below like a bruised eye. Far away, Helix throws a last blind shot, then shrinks into the storm. They set down in a canyon of scrap and glass, hidden from the sky. Rain falls soft here. Steam rises from Ash's back. Jax and Mira pull tarps and weld plates. Luma mixes a paste from a small pouch and smooths it over the wound. The paste smells like pine and hot stone. Ash lowers his head until it rests on the deck. He watches each egg. He blinks slow. He breathes slow. The ship quiets around him. Jack sits on the ramp, rain on his face. He looks at his burned hand, then at the sling of life they stole. We did it, he says. Luma kneels beside him. You saved more than me, she answers. You saved a future. Mira's pad chimes, soft but sharp. Message, she says. Encrypted, not core. She opens it with 3 fast taps. A single line fills the screen. The hive comes. Bring the girl, then a time, 2 days, then a grid. Kestrel rift. Reef whistles low. Trap. Or chance, Jack says. Luma listens to the rain. They will not talk, she says. They will take. Ash lifts his head. He stares out into the storm. Far off, past thunder and steel. Something answers him. A deep call, old as mountains. 1, then 2, then many. Rolling through cloud and night. Dragons, Mira breathes. Wild ones. Ash answers with a hard, bright roar that shakes rust from the walls. It is not a cry of pain. It is an answer. It is a summons. Jack stands. His voice is quiet, but it cuts the noise. We bring the girl, he says. We bring the brood. We bring the fire. He looks at his team. He looks at the storm. He looks at the red glyph on the pad and the grid that wants to be a grave. 2 days, he repeats. Then we go to the rift. Above the grave moon, lightning writes the sky in white lines. In the flash, Reef sees shapes moving in cloud, long, dark, winged. The real war is already turning toward them.